Hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk about Buried and what I usually do for my starting round strategies, and just to talk about some other tips and tricks that have helped me throughout the years of playing Buried. Now, at this point in the game's release, it's been so many years after that most people really do know how to play Buried, but I have been seeing a lot of newer people actually play, and I figured I should make a video just kind of showing what I usually do every time I play Buried. So please like and subscribe, and let's jump right into the video. Alright, so right off spawn, as you can tell, it's one of the more unique spawns that we've ever had in a zombies game. Very cool setting. I really do like Buried a lot just because of the setting. Now that you're ready to go, drop down the slide covered by the debris and make sure you pick up the Remington chalk, and then you can write it down right on the question mark right in front of you for 1,000 points. Typically, I usually pick up quick revive just because if I'm playing solo, you never know what's going to happen. If you don't want to take quick revive, not a big deal, you're just saving 500 points. Next, we're going to go unlock Leroy. First step in most Buried runs, just come down over here, grab the key, free him up, give him the booze, and he will then knock down the barrier for you. One thing I should mention, when you give Leroy a bottle of booze, the farther away he is from the barrier, the more money you will get. So right there, if you saw, he dropped $200 for breaking that barrier. Now if we come to the saloon, open it up for 1250 points, we can get another free bottle of booze, and you'll see you can knife him and he will run at you and he won't get mad. He'll just follow wherever you're going. If you knife, he'll follow for about 2 seconds and then you'll get to knife him again. But as you can see, I'm all the way back here where Jug is. I'm giving him the bottle so he has the farthest distance to run, and you will see I should get a lot more than $200. As you can see, we got roughly $1,400 from that. So now we have the chalks unlocked, all the rest of them. So I'm going to grab the SVU. You really can grab whatever you want. I'm just preferring the SVU right now. If you saw my Die Rise map video, you will understand why I chose SVU. Obviously the AN-94 is pretty much the best gun you're going to get for high rounds on this map, especially since it's a wall buy. You put it wherever you want. If you're good at training around, you should be able to last forever. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing another chalk, which happens to be an AN-94, and I'm just placing it down because every time it's a free $1,000. Now you should start working on building the trample steam. Usually I like to just build it so I can get up to where speed cola is so I can write that next chalk down. Remember, if you're using the bank, obviously you can just blow through the whole map, but that's why I'm making this video. The bank is a huge help though in the future, and I will go over that later in the video. But for now, all the parts for the trample steam are in the same house, and that goes the same for every other part for all the other workbenches in this map. Alright, now that you have the trample scene made, let's go get another piece of chalk, and now we can go above the saloon for free and get another free $1,000. It's important to know that you can pretty much get to Pack-a-Punch on round 1 if you optimize this as best as possible. This run could have been a lot smoother and cleaner. You'll see I actually ended up going to round 2 on accident. But for now, like I said, you can get all the way Pack-a-Punch round 1 without the bank if you wanted to optimize it. As you can see, after I get the chalk down on the saloon, jump over to power, turn it on. I usually like to grab a piece of candy, and I will show you why. Very helpful tool. Before anybody goes crazy in your match spinning the box over and over, you want to get a piece of candy and bring Leroy over, and if you actually give him a piece of candy, while you're looking at the box, he will turn around and smash it into the ground. Which now means the box will never move. I don't know if you can reverse it. I really don't know. I've never tried, but it will stay there forever. You could hit the box 100 times and it's not going to move. So it is a huge help when you're trying to farm wonder weapons or just kind of go for what you want. Alright, now that power's on, we have the trample scene made. I'm gonna go up to where speed cola is and write another one of those chalks down, get another 1000. So once you get that made, start heading back to the saloon so we can get another bottle of booze. Now, if it's sold round 1, you cannot get any more free booze, but you can buy it from the register for $1,000 at a time. It's not a bad price considering how much money you can make from Leroy. And right here is that unlucky nuke. I was super upset. Just the one zombie I melee. Of course he has a nuke. As you can see, I'm giving Leroy the bottle of booze as far back as I possibly can. Make sure you line it up. If you miss it, that's just $1,000 down the drain. But I nail it, and you can see that's $2,000. So not only did I pay $1,000 for the booze, I made it back, but I made an extra 1,000 on top of it. If you go back to the saloon, you can buy another 1,000, and I try to get this kind of weird corner angle. I'm sure you could back them up a little bit farther, but I didn't want to risk it. As long as you're making 1,000 over every time, you are making your money back, and you can keep buying booze until the whole map is open. Typically, after I open this barrier I'm walking through right now, I usually go for the church, but that footage corrupted, I guess? I have no idea where it went. I cannot find me giving Leroy a bottle to open up the church. But whatever, we'll move on. So, you can see me opening the witch's house. I don't make as much money from it, but it's still over 1,000. You can have way longer lineups, you can make a lot of money, and you could definitely pack a bunch on round 1. So, what I'm going to do is grab the last chalk buy. It's going to go in the church, which I still have no idea where that footage went. It's kind of bugging me now. But here's the last chalk buy, and now you have quite a bit of money to work with. Another little bonus is that final chalk buy that you write down will give you $2,000 instead of 1,000. It is a huge help. Right here is another lineup that a lot of people forget you can make extra money on. Just make sure you hit your lineups. I did miss a couple before this, so you might have seen my money go down a little farther than it should be. I did miss a few. It was definitely a bit embarrassing. They were pretty... You just gotta line yourself up straight. It's not hard, but it is very easy to miss if you're not paying attention like I did. Next, what you want to do is start getting the weapons and perks that you want to take with you. I recommend a wall buy and a wonder weapon, just because at the high rounds, you can, even though the wall buys aren't as good as some of the box weapons, you can at least buy ammo for them. And then obviously a wonder weapon, I usually take to bail me out of certain situations. So one more thing before we start heading towards Pack-a-Punch is get another bottle of booze. Doesn't have to be the first round. Send Leroy running straight towards this fountain. You'll see he'll crack it open, you'll get a sound, you'll even get an achievement for it the first time you do it. It might not make any sense right now, but it is very useful that you do that, and I will show you that in a minute. But next, you can open the witch's house for $1,250. I just wanted 2,000 so I could get double tap right away. Immediately, it's just on your right. I just want to get it before the witches start coming towards me, and we all know the witch house, and those of you that don't, I used to be terrified of this. Playing alone, I remember when this game first came out, I was so scared to go in the witch's house. I thought they were all behind me, and right here, a couple of them got behind me, which I was kind of surprised about, because that usually doesn't happen. They're usually all in front of you. If they touch you, they're going to take away, 1,000 points every time they touch you, so just keep your distance, get through the house as fast as you can. Once you get through the house, it's very important you come through here with 4 perks. You want to have 4 perks the first time you get through because they will drop you a free perk. And it's not the end of the world if you only have 3 perks and then they give you your 4th, because you could just keep running it over and over again until you have max perks. But it's just saves some time coming in with 4 perks. And as you can see, my 5th perk is Mule Kick, which I'm not completely excited about, but it is what it is. Now, you can see with this fountain right here, if you shoot it with a ray gun or throw a nade at it, it'll break open, and there will be a portal inside, and that only exists because of Leroy. When you send him to run into that fountain on the other side of the witch's house, it activates that portal. If you don't do that, there will be nothing. You will fall down that well, and you'll just instantly die, and that's a game over. So just, if you're going to use the well, which we will in a second, make sure you hit the fountain with Leroy. First, I'm just going to sit up here. A lot of people like to sit below where Pack-a-Punch is, and that's perfectly fine. I like just sitting up here, just camping the spawns. Just save whatever you need for Pack-a-Punch. Alright, now that you have enough money to pack a punch, I recommend waiting until you can pack a punch both guns or 3 guns if you have mule kick. Just get your weapons, pack a punch. It's much easier just to get them done now so you don't have to keep coming back over and over. So, after you have your guns pack a punch, we are going to start heading back through the maze, but we are not going to the witch's house. We are going to drop down the well, because when you drop down the well, it takes you all the way back to spawn. And you're not on the railings this time, you're actually below, which there is a part for the Easter egg over here, which you will see in a second. I don't pick it up, I'm not doing the Easter egg, but it is here if you were wondering. This area can be very fun to mess with, however there's no wall buys down here. You can actually get back up to the railings and you can go to where the LSAT is. If you had the paralyzer, you can just fly back up there. But as for training and staying down here, there's really no reason. There's no wall buys. It's pretty easy to get trapped, but it is fun to mess around with. I mainly just use it for transportation, just so you can skip the witch house, and it takes you all the way right back to where quick revive is, so you're basically right in the heart of where you want to be. Now, one thing about the witch's house, if you look at the lights of the mansion, if they are on, like they are right now, that means you can go get another free perk. Usually, it's off for a few rounds after you go in it, but at least I spent a lot of time over at Pack-a-Punch, so the lights came back on. As you can see right here, I'm running through another stage of the witches, which will then give me a 6th perk. You can have a max of 7, which can be very useful and is basically a perkaholic in Black Ops 2. I do really like this mechanic, I just wish there was more perks this time. However, 7 is quite a bit and I do like it. Next up, I'm going to show you one of the spots I like to sit at sometimes. If I'm playing with my buddies, it's really fun to get everybody sitting up here, but the saloon gets overlooked all the time. You can actually see me run into the witches one more time, but while I do that, I'm going to talk about the saloon. It has a way better getaway than Jug. Everybody always camps out at Jug, and it's a very classic spot. I've done it a million times. I'm sure you've done it a million times. Every new player has seen Jug and been like, wow, this is such a great corner to camp in, and it really is. Jug's right there. You go down, your buddy can revive you. You can just get Jug again. You can pretty much survive there infinitely. However, I think the saloon is a better option, and I will show you here in 1 second. So, if you make your way up to the saloon, I actually get the Bowie knife right here. I just don't really like the golden knuckles, I just like the way the Bowie knife looks. I don't use them. Both of them, I never really use them, but I just like the way it looks. Now, as you can see right here in the saloon, there is a long hallway, and they can only come from one direction. But you also have a getaway window you can jump out of that zombies cannot go through. This was hands down my favorite spot to play, especially when I was playing Grief. If you remember what Grief was, I am still so upset that this game mode does not come back once. I loved it. I am still so sad that so many people hated Grief. I think it was such a fun game mode, but I'm not talking about that right now. I'll make another video about that because I really want Grief to come back. But as you can see, I just placed down a trample seam. You can just sit here all day. Your buddies can get a trample seam, sit here all day. You have a crafting bench down in the bottom of the saloon where you could put the trample seam. And the best thing about it is it's a longer hallway than Jug, so you can back up farther. There's another corner you can turn around, and if you really have to jump out, you can just jump out and run away. The only major real drawback is that Jug is not in this corner, and I understand a lot of people like using that corner specifically for Juggernaut being there, but I really do think this corner is a bit better. It has an actual escape. Another quick tip that you can do that a lot of people I've seen don't know is if you give Leroy a piece of candy while he's standing next to a crawler, he will actually pick it up and just cradle it like a baby. This can be extremely useful if you're trying to go for a high round setup and you just need a break in between rounds, or if you're playing for the Easter egg, this can be a huge help. He'll just keep the zombie with him and you can go do whatever you want. He will follow one of the players around, but that's not a big deal. He'll just carry the crawler with him wherever he is. And when you're ready to move on, you can kill the crawler and move to the next round. Now, I said this was a no bank run, and I did mean it. However, that does not mean I'm not going to prepare myself for the next attempts that I have. And I recommend you do the same thing. I'm just pulling money out just to show you what it looks like. There's no reason to die with all this money on you, so just put it in the bank. You never know if you're going to get on for fun, mess around, you don't want to grind through everything, or you're setting yourself up for a perfect game. You never know when you're going to need the money, and there's no reason for you to die with it. So just deposit all your money. It doesn't matter if you die with it. So just save it for when you want it. And I already know there's gonna be someone saying, well, I hate the bank. It ruins the game. I don't have to grind for anything. Well, you know what I want to say to that? I want to say, too bad. They put it in the game for a reason. I'm gonna use it for a reason. It'll save you so much time in the future. I agree that it can skip a lot of stuff that is fun, but if you've played zombies enough and you've just done it over and over and over and over and over and over, you just want to get to the end game as fast as possible. For me, what is fun in zombies is training and just kind of getting into sticky situations, and the bank can help that. So I don't care if you don't like it, I'm gonna use it. Alright, moving on from that little rant. As you can see, I'm just building all the buildables on the map, which includes the head chopper, the trample steam, the boombox, and the turbine. These are pretty much the key to the end round in Buried. I mean, you could train if you want, and I think it's more fun to train, but if you're a newer player, these traps are what will get you pretty much infinitely far. I mean, most of us, I could say, that have played Black Ops 2 for a while have some memory of just sitting in this corner of Jug with all our buddies, and we all have a million different traps down. You got the boombox going off, the trample steams up front, the head choppers right behind them. I think if you are considering what has the best corner to camp in out of any zombies map that's ever existed, I mean, classically, I'm gonna say it's definitely Buried right here in Jug. I mean, countless hours of just sitting here camping in the corner. It's just a classic spot, so it's very new player friendly. Just get some traps down. You can pretty much survive forever. Again, like I was saying, I recommend bringing an AN94 if you're new off the wall buy, just so you can keep buying ammo for it as the rounds progress. Any wonder weapon's going to be really good in here. The paralyzer is obviously very good. You definitely want to have someone with monkey bombs in here, if not yourself. And another huge plus, which I already mentioned earlier, if you go down, well, guess what? Jug is right behind you, so there's really no issue with that. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up what I wanted to talk about for this final gameplay. You can at least see I was kind of trolling a little bit. I just wanted to see how good the barrel was pack-a-punch. Same with the pistol. They turn out to be terrible. I went down pretty much immediately after I started messing around, but it is what it is. I really do appreciate the people that are watching and commenting on the videos. It makes me want to post a lot more. I absolutely love Black Ops 2 Zombies. I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. I've been playing this game pretty much non-stop ever since the game came out, and I really just figured I should start making videos about it. I'm really trying to get my video quality better. I'm really sorry that some of it is not great. I understand that. It's gonna get better, I really hope. And I do plan on releasing more content for not just zombies, other games as well. I play CSGO, Minecraft. I mean, that's not it. There's a lot of other games I play, but that's just kind of what I'm posting right now. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. I play a lot of different games. I'd be more than happy to make any kind of video. Now, just before the video ends, I have to talk about grief. Just for a second. I will make another video about it, I promise. Because I could talk about grief forever. But for now, if there is enough people who are interested in it, I would absolutely love to get a full lobby of Grief going. If you have Black Ops 2 on PC and you want to play Grief on Mob of the Dead, what do they have? Mob of the Dead, Buried. There's definitely another one. I don't remember. I'll have to look. But I absolutely love Grief, and I want to get a full lobby. I think it would be really cool to make a few videos over it. So if you're interested in that, just please leave me a comment. If you have Black Ops 2 on PC and you're interested, it might not happen really anytime soon, but I want to start trying to get people together for it because it would be really cool to get a full match of Grief. Alright, that is gonna have to do it for the entire video. I think Buried is an amazing map. I'm sure most of you watching this can agree. It's definitely one of the most liked maps ever to exist. Not my favorite. Mob of the Dead will always hold that, but it is a very solid map. I hope this strategy, not really strategy, but just kind of walkthrough of what I usually do helped anyone. It's not the most optimized, but it's just what I run through. I hope you enjoy watching the video. Please like and subscribe. I really do want to keep making more videos, and have a good night.